838 Not directly. Your species made these 841 discoveries through your own ingenuity. 843 However, the foundational principles were 846 likely inspired by exposure to our 848 technology. This is unexpected. Most 851 species require millions of years to 85 for develop. Such technologies 856 independently. The third Lauritian, who had 858 not yet spoken, stepped forward. I am 902 Security Commander TK, the technology. And 905 question was never intended for adoption. 907 by D. A pre-spacefaring civilization this 910 creates. Complications. General Ramirez. 913 stood straighter. What kind of 915 complications? The artifacts contain 918 quantum entangled components linked to 920 our central networks as your systems. 923 have integrated derivatives of our 925 technology. You have inadvertently 9:27 created pathways into both our systems, 930 and your own. This presents security 9:32 concerns for both
our 934 civilizations.
The implication hung in 936 the air Earth's most critical systems. 939 might be vulnerable through connections. 941 no. One new existed equally concerning. 944 humans had apparently reverse engineered 946 alien technology so effectively that the 948 Lyshans now viewed them as a potential 951 security threat. We propose a joint team. 954 Zora said into the silence. Your experts. 958 working with ours to locate all the 10 o'clock Russian artifacts on Earth and safely. 10:02 disentangle your systems from ours. 10:05 Secretary General Okonkwo. Look. 10:07 troubled. We will need to consult with 10:09 our respective governments. As the 10:12 meeting 10:12 concluded, found herself walking 10:15 alongside Science Director Vex toward 10:17 the exit. May I ask a personal question?
At
10:20, she said. You may, Vex, replied your 10:24. People washed mine when we were still 10:26 learning to control fire now. 10:28 returned to find us splitting atoms and 10:31 creating artificial intelligence. Are you 10:33 afraid of what we've become? Vex studied 10:36 her with those large luminous eyes. Fear. 10:39 is not the correct emotion, Dr. Chen. 10:42 concerned. Perhaps fascination. Certainly 10:46a. Pause. In 30 millennia, your kind has 1049 accomplished what took most species 1051, including ours hundreds of thousands. Of 1054 years, we do not yet understand how this 1057 was possible. Maybe a Liliana suggested 1101. It's because we've always had two. Figure 1103 things out for ourselves until now. Vex 1106 made a sound that might have been a 1108. Laugh indeed. Perhaps the absence of 1111 guidance was your greatest advantage. As 1114 she left the facility, Eliana glanced 1117 back at the alien vessel. Hovering above 1119 them in the distance, the silent 1121 sentinels had returned only to find 1123 their observers had become something 1125 unexpected, something that might now be 1127 beyond their control. The quantum 1130 inheritance, the Sudan desert, shimmered 1133 under the merciless sun as the joint 1135 human Lycian expedition established 1138 their base camp. A temporary city of 1140 advanced composite structures surrounded 1142 the excavation site, populated by 1145 scientists, engineers, and security. 1148 personnel from both species. Dr. Ilana 1151 Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she 1154 reviewed 3D scans of what lay beneath 1156 the sand and rock. The Lian outpost was 1159 remarkably intact, a dome structure 1202, approximately 50 meters in diameter. Its outer 1206 shell composed of a material that had 1208 resisted 30 millennia of geological 1210 pressure, incredible preservation. She 1213 said to no one in particular. The outer 1216 shell is self-repping at the molecular 1218 level, explained Taryn, a junior Liation 1221 scientist, who had been assigned as her 1223 liaison, unlike most of his kind. Taryn 1226 seemed genuinely interested in human 1229 perspectives, although it appears the 1231 power systems failed, approximately 12 to 3,429. 400 years ago, that means your Team 1238 survived for 600 years after losing 1241 contact noted. Terran's expression shifted 1244, and what she had learned was the Lauritian 1246 equivalent of a solemn nod. They would
L49
have entered suspension protocols. After 1251 determining rescue was not imminent, with 1254 minimal power, perhaps 3 could have 1256 survived for that duration, and 13 o'clock, then they would have implemented final 1302 directive, Terran said quietly. When 1305, facing certain death, on a developing 1307 world, all knowledge must be secured or 1310 destroyed to prevent contamination.
L.
Of 1312 indigenous evolution, yet somehow, Ilana 1316 thought that contamination had occurred. 1318 anyway, the discovery of Lishan, 1320 artifacts across Earth had accelerated 1323 as more scientists learned what to look 1325 for a peculiar geometrical object. Found 1328 in a cave in South Africa. A crystalline 1331 device recovered from a pea bog in 1333 Ireland. Microscopic structures in 1336 ancient Chinese pottery that resembled 1338 modern nanocircuitry. Most disturbingly 1341 several major technology companies had 1343 confirmed finding strange similarities. 1345 between their proprietary designs and 1347 Lysion components. The quantum computing 1350 revolution that had transformed Earth's 1352 technology over the past decade showed 1355 particular parallels. We're ready to open 1357, the main chamber, called Dr. Hassan Biki, 14 o'clock. The archaeological team leader, Ilana, 1403, joined the observation group as 1405 specialized. Equipment, a hybrid of human 1407 and Lycian design, delicately cut through 1410, the final layer separating them from the 1413 outpost's interior. As the barrier 1415 dissolved, air hissed outward. The ancient 1418 facility had maintained partial pressure. 1424. 30 millennia lights activated 1423 automatically as they entered, responding 1425 to Lycian biosignatures. The space 1428 revealed itself as a laboratory in 1430 living quarters combined remarkably. 1433 similar to modern research stations. 1435 despite its age. 3 suspension pods 1438 stood against one wall, their transparent 1440 surfaces frosted with age, but intact. 1444 Science Director Vex moved to the pods. 1446, examining their displays as suspected. 1450 life support failure approximately 14 to 5329. 400 years ago his voice contained number 1456 emotion, but his posture conveyed respect. 1459 for the long dead. Ad researchers Ileana 1502 found herself drawn to a central console. 1504 where holographic displays flickered. 1506 life responding to Vex's presence. 1509 symbols scrolled rapidly at data. DUMP 1513 activated by the return of compatible 1515 technology. They left a message, Vex said. 1518, his tone changing for any Lauritian who 1521 might find this place. The hologram 15:2 for stabilized, showing a recording of a 1526 Lycian female with signs of age evident. 1529 in her features. I am lead researcher. 1532 Neela Ra, final survivor of Outpost Terra. 1535. I guess you're viewing this. Our civilization 1538 has endured. The others entered final 1540 suspension. 83 cycles ago, power systems 1544 are failing before joining them in final 1547. Rest. I have made a decision that 1549 violates our primary directive, the 1552 recording showed. Neela removing to 1554 another console activating systems. The 1557 indigenous Prescension of this world 1559 show remarkable potential. Their 1602 cognitive TET architecture is uniquely 16:0 for suited to innovative problem solving. 1606 unlike any species we have encountered, 1609 they lack our longevity and systematic 1612 approach, but their neuroplasticity and 1615 adaptive reasoning are extraordinary. I 1618 believe they may someday achieve 1619 technological parity with our 1621 civilization, but their developmental 1623 timeline suggests this would require 1625 hundreds of thousands of years. Miller's 1628 image looked directly at the camera as 1630 if gazing across millennia. I have 1633 distributed research modules across 1635 regions, showing early human settlement. 1637 patterns each contains basic principles. 1640 of Lesion technology, encoded to become 1643, gradually accessible as their 1645 understanding evolves. This is not direct 1648 interference. They must still develop the 1650 science themselves, but it will 1650 to accelerate their progress. I do this not. 1655, knowing what they may become, but 1657, believing in what they could be. The 1659 message ended. The room fell silent. She 1703 seated. Your world with our knowledge. 17:05 Security Commander Trick, said voice. 1708. Tight with something like anger. 1710, deliberately accelerating. Your 1712 development by orders of magnitude. 1714 General Ramirez, who had observed 1716 silently until now, stepped forward. She 1720 gave us a nudge. Everything we built, we 1723 built ourselves based on principles you 1726 should not have discovered. 4000s, 1727 of generations, TK countered. Do you 1730 understand the implications? Your species 1733 developed nuclear weapons before you. 1735 fully understood your own biology. You 1737 created global communication networks. 1740 before resolving tribal conflicts. You 1743 achieved space travel while still 1745 burning fossil fuels. We've managed. Dr. 1748 Mbeki said defensively. Have you? Trick 1752 gestured to a data screen displaying 1754 Earth News headlines. Climate crisis. 1757 political tensions. Resource conflicts. 18 o'clock before the argument could escalate. 1802 warning alarms blared from the Lysion. 1804 equipment. Vex moved swiftly to a console. 1807 hands dancing over controls. Multiple 18 to 10 quantum resonance cascades.